Ever since Asus ROG adopted a tiered lineup for their ROG Phone line somewhere in the middle of its model lifespan, there has always been sort of a stigma against the entry-level model. Getting an ROG phone, like getting a flagship phone from either Samsung or Apple, is seen as kind of like a commitment. You're committing to actually playing games on your phone because you're not only upgrading to some of the best levels of Android gaming there is, but one of the best Android phone experiences ever. At least for that generation anyway. But getting the lowest tier version, that's seen as kind of like showing up to the big party but just staying silent in the corner and not talking to anybody. You're not really making the most out of your experience. But is it really though? Are you really missing out on much if you get the 45,000 peso ROG Phone 9 FE instead of the 77,000 ROG Phone 9 Pro? And if so, how much? Let's find out.
But before we continue with the video, let's keep the lights on here in the studio. This video was brought to you by Sneak Attack Design Lab. They're a clothing company that specializes in technical fashion, more commonly known as techwear, and you can see me in their clothes in most of my videos. I've been supporting their brand ever since I met them back in 2019, and now they're returning the favor. Head on over to the link in the description to get 10% off of your order from their site. Check their clothes out. You're bound to see something badass over there that'll look great on you. Thank you very much to Sneak Attack for this exclusive promo for my viewers. Now, back to the video.
Well, before we head further into finding out how far apart the experience actually is, let's first see what's different with the phones that we're playing with today. An easy way to do this is to head on over to gsmarena.com and compare the two models. Most of these differences don't matter much for gaming, like the difference in weight, support for eSIM, different camera sensors and whatnot. What we're focusing on is this. The ROG Phone 9 FE is equipped with the technically previous generation Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chipset with the Adreno 750 GPU and 16 gigs of unified VRAM. I say technically because this is still considered a flagship chipset in 2025. It still boasts flagship level performance in all phones that use it. The only reason why it's considered last gen is because of the ROG Phone 9's Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite chipset running the Adreno 830 GPU with up to 24 gigs of unified VRAM. This is bleeding edge current gen. It's the best that Android has to offer right now, and it's going to offer the best top-of-the-line gaming performance among Android mobiles. So yeah, two devices in the same model line with a one-generation gap in chipset and 32,000 pesos in between them. Are you really going to feel those differences in-game? Well, like the tiered model line of the ROG Phone 9 series, I've tiered the gaming experiences you can have on Android as well. Let's see the differences in each tier of gaming. Do note that my usage of the word tier doesn't denote how hard each game is to run. This is the ROG Phone after all. We expect it to run the best and the heaviest games out there. Tier denotes the nature of the game or program, whether it runs natively on the phone or an emulator or what have you. And also, I'll be using the tried and true ROG Tessen to help me present these games to you in this video. Let's get to it. Let's start off with the most basic of these tiers, native Android gaming. Simple. You go on the Google Play Store, you download the game from there, and you run the game. For this tier, we're looking at the performance of the phone in one of the hardest Android games to run right now, Grid Legends. And it's not much of a mystery why this game taxes even the hardiest flagships there are. The graphics are beautiful, you're given full driving control like gaming on a console or PC, and it's a full racing experience. Sometimes you're racing against 31 other drivers on a highly detailed track. But I'm noticing something. It's either the phones are equally being taxed to their extremes by the game, or the new architecture on the Adreno 830 isn't fully being taken advantage of yet, because the gap isn't that wild. On the Pro, I was able to average 64 FPS across 3 races, while the FE was able to secure an average of 57 FPS across 3 races. That is incredible. I've modded both instances to unlock the best graphic settings, turned off dynamic resolution, and even removed the frame rate cap. Look, some of these settings don't even make sense to turn on to their maximum. Turn down some of them if you want more frames. We're here to put these phones to the test, that's why I'm always running on maximum settings. Next level we're taking a look at is game streaming via Sunshine and Moonlight, of course. Now technically this is an easier mode of gaming to run compared to native Android gaming because the phone isn't actually doing any of the processing needed for the game. The source PC is the one responsible for that, and in our case, this ROG Ally Z1 Extreme with the XG Mobile 3080 Ti version is the one running the show. But still, I wanted to test this out because the tethered device's performance still matters, specifically how it handles processing of the frames it receives from the source PC and how it handles latency. And yeah, as you've been seeing, both the results are good. And I don't notice any additional latency or inconsistencies in frame timing from the FE over to the Pro. They literally have the same performance in this aspect. Lastly, it's time for the memes to finally die. Yes, we've got GTA V on phones before GTA 6. Yeah, PC games have finally come to Android phones and they need a lot of juice to run. I am using Gamehub to run GTA 5 on both phones, and both phones are running the same emulation settings and in-game settings, save for one. Like I mentioned before, the Pro phone that's running the Adreno 830 is running under a different architecture, so it now uses a vastly different graphics driver. So while the FE model's Adreno 750 is running on Turnip GPU drivers, the Pro model is running Elite native drivers. And what can I say, this is the game that made me the most excited to explore this further. 55 FPS average on the Pro, while the FE model didn't trail too far behind with a 47 FPS average. There are a lot of hiccups and slowdowns, but I am running medium to high settings on them. And I assume that performance here will get better over time as PC emulation on Android gets better and better. Damn, imagine all of the games that you can try running on your phone now. But yeah, keep in mind, single player only for now because the PC emulator doesn't have an internet connection. That just means it'll be a while before I can play Fallout 76 on my phone. Alright, just to give you a point of reference, I benchmarked both phones with Geekbench in my unboxing video. The ROG Phone 9 Pro scored 3,099 points in single-core and 9,749 points in multi-core. On the ROG Phone 9 FE, it scored 2,259 points in single-core and 6,878 points in multi-core. That's a 27% and 29% gap in performance respectively. But results from synthetic benchmarks are rarely representative of real-life gaming performance. And as long as we don't exceed those percentages, we will be able to say that the ROG Phone 9 FE is still a valid choice if you just want to be on the 9 series but don't want to spend all that money for a Pro model. Well, here are the numbers. We get a 10% difference in Grid Legends and a 14% difference in GTA V PC emulation to get an average of just 12% difference in the performance in this limited testing scenario. And might I remind you, you might get different numbers if you do this test as well across multiple different games. This is a limited testing scenario, so yeah. I mostly just picked these games because these are some of the heaviest to run and it represents the highest load of Android gaming. But yeah, that performance is absolutely not bad and is a far cry from the 28% difference we got in Geekbench. Very, very impressive. So yeah, by all accounts, you shouldn't worry so much about getting the ROG 9 FE if you're just looking to game. Yes, it can game. No, the experience won't be too far from the ROG Phone 9 Pro. The Pro will still predictably and reliably outperform the FE given that it's got a better later chipset, more RAM, and even more storage. But if you're okay with the baseline 14% less performance at 58% less price, and let's be real, that's a pretty solid trade-off, you're going to be alright with the ROG Phone 9 FE. It's a great phone in and out of gaming, and you're not going to be disappointed. So that's my feature video on the ROG Phone 9 FE. Do you have any questions about it? Leave them down in a comment and I'll do my best to answer them. While you're there, give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps out a lot. That's it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.